of the secondary role, but also
All right,
bringing up
we're
some
live.
interesting questions. All right.
Yo, yo, yo. How you doing for Loco?
Hey, thanks, D. Everything is good. Happy Wednesday. We're here, surviving this summer as we all try to kind of like navigate this kind of like market conditions. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Bitcoin's been ripping today, relatively. Um,
Yeah.
but besides that, I think that's about it. We're waiting on Bren right now. I think he's kind of has some technical difficulties, but I can share my screen relatively soon. Anything you're looking at
You know
recently
what?
or this week?
I'm actually. I mean, we can kind of like go through kind of like the macro and things first. But since you mentioned Bitcoin, I'm actually very surprised because normally August, especially the end of August, tends to be a fairly bad month for crypto in terms of like historically and seasonality wise. But I've been just watching both Bitcoin and Solana mostly, and they're just fighting over these support areas, right? Like Bitcoin, it's kind of like flirting around with like 58 and 61,000. Now it looks like we are just like yesterday, right? We had that kind of like dip to 58, I think it was 58,600 bucks. Then it went all the way up to 61 and then completely gave up those wins over the evening Pacific time. But now it looks like we are repeating the same story. Hopefully, this time around is not a fake out, but it's like an actual, break at above 60. I think we have a 62, 500 and something that I'm looking at here for resistance short term. Um, Other than that, things look pretty good considering that we've been ranging for 2 or 3 weeks now, 2 weeks now before after the events of August 5th, which was the Blood Sunday, as we like to mention. But yeah, what are you looking at?
Mostly Bitcoin. I mean, it's been in the same range since Thursday, August 8th. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is the breakout of this small range. If you can see my screen, but yeah, Bitcoin, ETH. Uh, I'm getting some chatter about BNB and people going back to that chain. Um, I think people has just been moving around more recently and not just sticking to Solana.
BNB, huh? Well, I
Yeah.
actually had I think it was back in June. I think we were in our Bitrial Discord. We were discussing some of these, some of the BNB meme coins and some protocols that were doing fairly well. I haven't really. I still hold some of those. I haven't really looked at them in a while, but I know that the chain that we're probably going to be discussing today is Tron, right? Like everything. I mean, ever since Justin Sun released the Sun Pump or whatever it's called, Pump Sun, all these meme coins have
What's
been.
that? Sun pump.
Ex- I think it is Sun. Is it Sun Pump or Pump dot Sun or something like that? I can't remember what it was. That way that it is. Yeah, that one. There's one meme coin that reads almost $250 million. That one, almost 300 million market cap. Sundog. What is it at right now?
1.7.
You mean 171 million?
Yeah, 171.
Yeah, yeah. So now it's taking a little bit of a dip, but yesterday I think it reached all the way to 270 or almost. So, I mean, you know, I want to hear Brent's thoughts about this chain, but I've always thought it's the chain for what they call the the money laundering kind of like chain, right? I mean, obviously it's a fairly old chain back it leads back to previous, like not even like the previous market cycle. I think it's two market cycles before, like 2017, 2018, and it was made or started to be a cheaper option to Ethereum before Solana came around. And most of the times this thing has no volume, right? It's speculative in nature, and most of the holders have been holding for many years, but nothing really has been going on. But now we have this, push from the founder to kind of like bring some liquidity to the chain. And I see Bren joined us. Hey, Bren, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, what's up, guys? My bad. I had some technical difficulties. Sorry that I'm late.
Oh, we're good. We
Very good.
actually we started kind of like discussing Bitcoin and majors, but then we were kind of like, obviously, the attention has kind of like shifted a little bit to Tron, and kind of like the new wave of meme coins. Probably not a good way to start, but it just feels like everyone is really talking about it. Have you been digging on the chain and meme coins on Tron or not?
So yeah, I got in a few of the faux far and a few of the others pretty early, a few days ago. Not going too crazy into it, but yeah, no, I've definitely been playing around a little bit.
Yeah, thanks.
What's
We
the
have you.
best way to trade
Yeah. I,
Ton meme coins?
Ton or Tron?
Tron.
Oh my bad. I don't know why I thought you said Ton.
No, I said
Uh,
Ton, but I meant Tron.
okay, yeah, no, they're similar, just one letter difference. But I mean, just in general, we've seen a few of these chains heat up over the last few months. They're even during this kind of mini bearish period for memes in general. My take on it is, you know, at first the first few weeks of or first week or two of trading on these newer chains. I say newer as far as newer to meme coins. Um, they usually pop off for a few weeks either way, and then from there I think if we do get some new money into crypto, some new excess, some money from like normies or just new money coming into crypto, I do think I think that's an inevitability at some point, and at that point I think we could see Ton, Base, Tron, Soul like kind of all have powerful runs at the same time. Until then, um, Tron will probably follow the same playbook where maybe be strong for a few weeks and then kind of peter out. But maybe we get lucky here and the majors move at the same time, and then Tron just goes crazy for 2 or 3 months. But we'll see.
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you trade these? What's your platform that you use? And how do you even get Tron?
What was your first question? I'm sorry.
What's the platform you use to trade?
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
that's a great question. So the decks that I've found most easiest to use is SunSwap, SUN swap, and then how do you get Tron? You can just Coinbase doesn't support it, but all the other major exchanges, Bybit, pretty much every other one, you can send some Sol, ETH, Stables, whatever other coin, and swap it for Tron, and then or TRX, and then the wallet that I use is Tron Link. I found that one to be pretty good. So yeah, SunSwap, Tron Link, and you can get TRX on a DEX.
right. So there isn't like a bonk bot, a bullx situation for Tron yet. It's just
No, they
the
Um,
do. Actually,
traditional.
yes, they do have one. I can't remember the name. I can bring it up here in a minute, but they do have a trading bot that you can utilize to trade. Obviously, you can also, I believe, buy on that Pump That Sun or whatever, but with the wallet, right? But there's a trading bot. Let me see if I can find the name here.
like Sundog or whatever. I think it is Sundog. I think it's attached to that coin that you have. I'm pretty sure.
Really, that's they have their own like trading bot.
I'm pretty
That's kind
sure.
of fun.
Unless it's Sun something else. My partner had a link in the Telegram. Let's see.
Hmm.
Let me scope. I think it is. Let's see. Sunbot. Yeah,
Sunbot? Is it like a Telegram bot?
Sunbot by Sundog. So yeah, it's the same. It's part of that coin that you have up.
That's good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one I was looking at this morning. And honestly, I haven't really bridged any Solana or Ethereum or stables into Tron because I just feel like a bunch of this pump is heavily manipulated even more than you would see in Ethereum and Solana. And honestly, I just don't even see that I have an edge here with these memes. But definitely interesting to see the comment. It has happened so fast, and I haven't really had the time to kind of like even like dig on it, right? Because I've been focused on Solana. I've been focused on Ethereum, and it's just there's too many things to focus on. Even when there was the base kind of like hot period during April, they were calling base summer, and really never really happened. So it's just there's just too many chains, liquidity flowing from chain to chain, but not new net liquidity or traders, which is actually hurting a bunch of these other kind of like what I call established meme coins in Solana and Ethereum. So I don't know. I also don't know much about the chain itself. I know, Justin Sun is kind of like an OG in crypto, along with like Vitalik. Back in the day, I was telling Danksy that I believe it was the first chain, kind of like the cheapest chain, right? That before Solana came around, was trying to provide an alternative to Ethereum for trading and for transactions. But there's not really any much volume, nor you see a lot of development in that chain. So kind of worry about it. But I would definitely happily look from the sidelines, and if any of our members or members from the Bossman calls TG have made a good bag on this. Congratulations. I just don't know how long is it going to last, or if it even makes sense for me to participate. Thanks. Any thoughts?
Uh, Dude, I have problems trading soul meme coins. I'm definitely not trading uh, TRX meme coins. I mean, the bot is cool. I definitely have to get the
Yeah.
bot if I was going to trade it. Definitely not going to trade it through like a traditional wallet situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of my strategy. But I mean, if you look at Sun Pump, there hasn't been like a second winner. Probably too early for it. Um, but
Yeah.
I think the question is, where is the Sundog money going to go?
What's
Right?
the TVL? There's an app that you can see the TVL on chain. I think it's Llama Finance. If you can search,
On
maybe,
Tron.
yeah, just say Llama Finance, and then you can search by chain TVL and see what the TVL is. I'm sure it's popped up significantly. But what is it? 8 billion. Okay. Wait, is that the market cap or the actual TVL of the chain? Oh, that's the
TVL
TVL.
apparently.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, no, the market cap I believe is close to 12 or 14 billion. I think it was, which is 5 times less or smaller than Solana. Solana is close to 60 billion, I believe. So there's some liquidity, but are there any interesting protocols being built on this chain, or is it just meme coins?
I mean, it seems like Solana's half the TVL on this DeFi Llama situation. It
Yeah,
seems
no, I
like
was,
there's more on Tron.
referring to market cap. Yeah, but this liquidity, we don't know how much of this is locked and not, because I know there's a bunch of investors from back into the 2017 or even like the DeFi kind of
Most of
like
that is coming
point.
from. Sorry to interrupt. Most of that is coming from. If you look at stablecoin market cap, you see that Tron has 59 billion. It's because most of the tether, believe it or not, most people don't realize actually lives on Tron or yeah on Tron. Most of the big transactions for TRX or for Tether, a lot of it lives on Tron, as you can see, 59 billion, and that's probably why it has whatever. This is just DeFi. Neither one of these coins have much of a DeFi presence as far
Yeah.
as lending and all that goes. If you go to ETH. Yeah, it's 49 billion. It obviously has a bunch of DeFi assets, the TVLs up. So,
Yeah.
um, But
Yeah,
yeah, that's
not
why
very
that's
excited.
why Tron has more than Sol is because of the stable coins for the most part.
Interesting.
I guess
Yeah, I
let's.
mean,
Yeah, I mean, unless there's anything else interesting, we can definitely discuss this later on. But so we kind of like follow the routine. Like let's go back to majors and macro. I want to get some. I want to get Bren takes on what's happening right now in the economy. I know not much has happened, to be honest, since last week, but we had the Fed minutes today. It looks like the markets reacted positively to it. Both crypto and equities seem to be up slightly, with the Nasdaq being up close to 1%, as well as the QQQ and SPX are about 0.5%, I think, on the day, or maybe that's the change. They're actually up 2 points. The QQQ and SPX up almost 24 points, which was positive after what is believed that the Fed is going to be kind of like confirmed to cut rates here in September. Have you been listening to it, Bren, or not much?
Yeah, of course. Hold on, let me share my screen real quick. Uh, let's see. Yeah, it's fine. All right. So I'll start with the S&P. I think last time, a couple weeks ago, was down here. Yeah, when the first space that we did, all three of us together. I think. Yeah, Seoul was down here. It was 2 weeks ago actually. Uh, the S&P 500 is down here. There was all the Japan FUD and everything going on with the recessionary fears and everything. And I think I said that I that stuff will matter, and it still will eventually. I think, but you know, the market or the markets and assets are going to take a while to digest that, and in the short term, we're going to move higher. And as you can see, S&P 500 is just absolutely ripped, almost pretty much back to all time highs now. FOMC, the next one's not for a month. I think they probably will cut rates, but that's kind of expected at this point. So it's just really to be seen. You know, in the past, risk assets have come down after they start cutting rates, but that's usually because there's a big recession or financial crisis that comes along with it. So, you know, whether stocks, crypto, all that have a major correction, I think is going to depend on if there is like a big recession or some kind of crisis on the horizon. If not, then I think we could actually probably avoid and have some kind of soft landing. But we'll see. As far as Bitcoin and ETH, for me, I've been saying for a few weeks in the channel, and I think on here that we'd probably have a few weeks of chop, and that in the next few weeks, Bitcoin ETH Sol would move higher. Kind of the trigger point for me is if we break above 62K at that point, that move up that I was talking about just now will have started, be confirmed has started. For me, one of two things is going to happen over the next few weeks is sorry, I'm in a kind of a public space right now. There might be some noise, but
You good?
the you know, I've been very confident that in the next few weeks we're going to get a move higher. It just depends whether we're going to get an equal or lower high here, and then eventually peter out for one more low, kind of sending us back down to this corrective hell here for a little bit, or if this move is the one that just rips right through all-time highs. I think either one is possible. If you look at the DXY, which is the dollar index, kind of ripping down, as well as the S&P 500 kind of moving up out of a new impulse, I wouldn't be surprised if this move up just happens here. But as we can see, anything's possible. So we've got to be prepared for either scenario. But in the short term, the next few weeks, I do think we move higher, probably back to like around 70K Bitcoin. And then from there, we'll see what happens.
yeah, crazy the V-shaped recovery on on the equity side, right? Since that last 2 weeks, uh, since
Yeah.
the Japan situation, and then you're just like, oh, Bitcoin's just gonna rip. Everything's just gonna rip from here. It's not a
Mhm.
disaster. Everything's kind of overblown, especially the war side and the currency and inflation side.
Yeah, and this is one thing that
Yeah.
anybody can take right now, and like real quickly, I won't go on too long because I know I just talked for a while, but one thing is like you can take if you look at any chart when you're talking about major tops. I'm talking about tops that last. It's tough on the stock market because it's been mostly up only since 2020 or even before that. But on any chart, what you're looking for a major top, meaning like a longer term top that's going to lead to downside for a long time, is some type of consolidation. Even on this one, we got consolidation for almost 2 months before coming down. Here, what was the biggest dead giveaway for me is we literally had zero consolidation coming down here. For me, whenever I see that, there's a very, very high chance that this is just a correction and that we move higher. So, on top of the recessionary stuff we already talked about, that was a dead giveaway for me. You saw it right here too. No consolidation comes down. To me, that's an obvious correction, and we're going to move higher. So that's just a little side note.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the chart of the S&P chart looks exactly like the chart of Nvidia. If you pull up the chart of Nvidia, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It
it's because the
almost
S and
looks
P
like
500 is like
it's like
heavily weighted towards
yeah.
Nvidia,
What is it like a third of it? I really don't know
something
what it
like
is.
that.
It's insane.
It's
But
not yet.
yeah, that one. Let's see. I mean, like
Yeah,
yeah, that one, right? It looks just like look almost the same. Like it has recovered
yeah,
almost like 30. Yeah, it went down to $90, so it's been like almost like $40 it came out. And in what's so interesting is like Nancy Pelosi happened to buy the bottom too on its
yeah,
worst day. So I mean, at this point, man, you can just hate it or you can just copy trade it, right? uh,
yeah,
but no, it's very interesting to see it. Like obviously a lot of people are calling for the bubble to burst, recession, economy fears, and everything that happened with the yen carry trade in Japan, as you mentioned, Brent. But looks like those are being completely erased, and now we're all looking forward to the rate cuts, and and ideally some global liquidity and M2 supply to be pumped in the system, right? I see a lot of hedge funds. There was a popular hedge fund. I can't remember what the name, what it was, saying that we are about to enter the worst recession in history. But when I hear those headlines, I'm thinking that they're doing the opposite. Do you guys also kind of like plan ahead with same or similar capacity where you see a lot of headlines of doom and you kind of like position yourself against it? Or are you more cautious when these things come up?
I think it depends who it is. I mean, I don't know. I kind of take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt. 'Cause sometimes they're just wrong. Sometimes they might have ulterior motives, like you're saying. Um, so I don't know. The big banks saying stuff, all that. I kind of take it with a grain of salt a lot of the time. But a lot of people, like you're saying, a lot of people are just wrong. A lot of people are just short. Tesla for many years, people, so I mean, me personally, I kind of just take all that with a grain of salt. Yeah, I mean, if they're talking bullishly about it long term, like how BlackRock and all them are, definitely take that into account. But like, if Bank of America says Bitcoin's heading down over the next few months, like stuff like that, I'll just kind of take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have ulterior motives. They're coming out on like what's the like Bloomberg, CNBC, and just showing their positions, or not even showing their positions, but giving their thesis, especially on the short term. They're definitely trying to
Hmm.
influence and getting some retail buy-in. Um,
Okay, here's the headline from Bloomberg. Mark, I think his last name is Spitznagel, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering his last name, but he's the founder and chief investment officer of Universa Investments, which I believe is a fairly big hedge fund, and says that the he warns that a black swan is coming this year. So that's like in 4 months. But I mean, technically, we're already in a recession if you want to, or not, if you want to kind of like think about the metrics. But it will be followed by the biggest market bubble burst in history. So, anyways, when I hear these things, I kind of like want to do the opposite. And if you see the markets, they don't seem to be scared. So maybe that can also be a reason why, even during recessions, the stock market doesn't really have to go down. Like if you see, I mean, certain areas, certain times, right? Like during the financial crisis of '08, you had massive debt and massive, you know, things that happen with the mortgages, etc. But I think even if we go through a small recession, boomers, I want to keep their asset prices up, right? Just because the dollar will eventually weaken. So, and the dollar is down today, I believe, a little bit. But I don't know. I just when I hear these headlines, I tend to do the opposite. And we learned that in 2020 after COVID. Now we have the monkeypox. So all I'm saying is I think we go up from here. There might be some choppiness, and I think Brent, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. But I think overall, in the next 12 to 18 months, we're gonna be looking back and say, okay, I wish I would have bought this um, kind of like a decision and kind of like scary period, right? Which a lot of people are probably thinking the same.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, my thesis has been that by the end of the year, that Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol will be at all time highs. And I might be a few months off of that. Maybe we bought them in November and we hit it February, March or something. But I think Q4, Q1, 2025 between those two, we see
Yeah.
those three at all time highs.
That's crazy. That's crazy. The guy is predicting a black swan event. Aren't those like impossible to predict?
I mean, yeah, they're like, yeah. I think there's a lot of evidence pointing to like real stuff pointing to like something breaking, right? Like in all the interest rates have never been raised this fast before, and usually every other time they raise rates this quick historically, something breaks, whether it's real estate, mortgages, or whatever. I think that's actually unrelated, but anyways, whenever they raise the rates, typically something happens, and it's been 2 years now, and we've kind of had a soft landing. So I think there's a lot of credence to like people kind of predicting that there might be some type of banking crisis where the banks go insolvent, kind of how we saw a little bit of last
Yeah.
year, 2022. But yeah, it's very hard to predict these things, especially time these things. So um,
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the story of the S&P over the last 50 years, you don't want to be short, right? I mean, obviously, here's the thing, right? Like everyone praises Michael Blurry, I think it is, for the Big Short, '09, '08 crisis. But the truth is, he's been wrong so many other times. I think he was wrong back in 2018, 2020. He was wrong again last year, and he's lost hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, right? So it's very difficult to predict, as Brent says, and overall, over the long period of time, knowing what the economy is we essentially have assets that are saving us. And even, I'm not saying that the actual assets will go up in value, but the nominal price will go up just because it's kind of like fighting the inflation and the debasement of the currency, right? So if you believe that the value of your asset will go up, in terms of like nominal value, then it's very difficult to be short, right? At least over a long period of time. So that's what I would say. I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts on macro? Otherwise, we kind of like shift back to crypto.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really hard to time these things. I think it could go either way. We could see some type of major recession, or maybe even some type of like bust, like where it's even bigger, where it's gets real bad. But
Mm.
I do think either way, um, they probably will print eventually. I feel like the system now is kind of built off of the printing. They're going to have to start eventually, type thing. So even if we did get some type of major crash or recession or bust or whatever, that would just open up the opportunity for them to print more. But I don't know. It's tricky. I think a lot of people have theorized that they're just going to have to let the inflation run to kind of inflate away the huge debt that we have, which wouldn't be
Hmm.
good. But
Yeah.
either way, we're probably in for a crazy next 10 years. I'd rather hold assets like Bitcoin, ETH, that are not or priced against the dollar, like for Loco was saying. So
Yeah, it's interesting because the TLT, which is the kind of like the treasury, one of the tickers that I monitor for the 20-year treasury bonds, treasury bills,
yeah.
it's up, and it hasn't been this up or almost $100 since December 2023, I want to say. Yeah, so it's up. Obviously gold reads all-time highs. It keeps hitting all-time high after all-time high, and I believe one gold bar now is worth $1 million, which is interesting. I think it's 27 ounces. Is that what it is? Yeah, 27 ounces or one gold bar is worth $1 million. So um, good to know. But at the same time, we have stocks rallying, right? So almost we're in this kind of like looming. I think it's called the winner's curse phase, right? When everything just goes up, right? And it doesn't particularly mean that your wealth is, increasing. It just means that assets are inflating, right? Just because what we just discussed. There's just too much inflation and too much currency debasement for these prices to lag. They had to catch up to the actual debasement of the currency. Um, so yeah, Bitcoin. Let's switch back to it. I was just discussing with Janksy before you joined. Honestly, just how resilient it has been, right? Because you keep seeing and hearing headlines of Mount Gox and everyone else sending more and more and more Bitcoin to Coinbase to you know I guess sell some of it, but at the same time, this 58,000 to 61,000 range has been holding out very very strong for the last 2 weeks. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to like the stuff that moves market. Like the whole Mount Gox thing was just expected, kind of telegraphed. Everybody was expecting it for years. So, as well as a lot of those people that are getting Bitcoin were people who were here in 2012 or whatever it was, right?
Mm,
Um, so there, a lot of them are like long term holders. If they're still around, they're probably more likely to hold it anyway. So I think a lot of these things that are telegraphed are mostly overblown and don't really have an effect on price. Um, to me, this is just a classic corrective consolidation, just like we had in April to September 2023, and then a smaller one, December to January of this year. So for me,
yeah,
it's been obvious since April. Corrective behavior on the charts. To me, all the positive catalysts are still there, even more so, more than ever. So I think in the next, 3 to 6 months, the everything will probably be a lot higher. Not obviously not everything, but the majors and
yeah.
most of
I
everything
mean,
Right?
else.
These guys are like the Bitcoin OGs, right? They bought super low, probably one of
yeah,
the top like early
Yeah.
holders of Bitcoin. They kind of know the ups and downs in the situation. So I'm assuming they're pretty good diamond hands. They're not like the meme coin cheaters for sure.
Yeah, I feel like
well,
they
yeah.
either are long holders that are going to hold, or a lot of people just forgot about it and probably aren't even claiming it. To be
Well,
honest with you.
that's what we thought and discussed last week, right? That they were just distributing this to kind of like holders and kind of like early investors. But I was just reading an article from Cointelegraph, and again, not saying that they're right or not, but they've moved around 12,000 Bitcoin or 700 million USD in Bitcoin for the last 3 weeks, right? And so, do we think that all of that amount, 12,000 Bitcoin, is just gonna just get distributed and nothing is gonna be in the market, or at least a portion of that 12,000, which is a fairly big amount, is going to actually be dumped or sold here in the near term?
12 million. What is that like?
No, 12,000 Bitcoin
12,000.
equals 700 million USD.
To
Yeah.
Coinbase? Is
I don't know
Mount
if it's
Gox
moved to
sending it to
Coinbase. It has
wallets,
been, yeah, it
or are
has
they sending it to
been.
exchanges?
They're changing it, then moving it out of their wallet into some of it to Coinbase and some of it to other wallets, I believe.
I think PayPal helped them with it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how they're distributing it, but
I'm pretty sure
I
it's
mean
through
it's just
PayPal. But
Bitcoin movement.
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Bitcoin at least.
So we'll see what happens with it. But BlackRock and the big guys, are still buying. So we have net positive inflows. And then I believe now you can borrow Bitcoin. You can essentially just fund your trades. If you are opening a loan with leverage, you have negative funding, which means they're actually paying you to borrow, which is actually fairly interesting. That's how
Yeah, that's
boring
another positive
the
catalyst
market
too. Like
is.
funding's
Yeah,
negative on the which pretty much means just all the leverage is pretty much wiped out,
yeah,
which is good. Another good sign for when we rip higher. It's pretty much like
yeah.
a clean slate for leverage.
But they're saying that holding the beach ball underwater, right? And so point is going at some point is going to pop, and everyone that's short is going to get wrecked. Bitcoin dominance is up 20% in 2 years, which just kind of like further re-rates the strength of Bitcoin as the number one currency. And even in these choppy periods, people want to have most of their liquid in majors, versus diversifying into smaller alts and even meme coins. We have seen that they have, especially Solana meme coins, have uh, bleed up, significantly. Some of them 20, 30, 40% in the last 2 weeks. So I don't know, Danksy, what do you make of this? Do you think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue this high, or are we starting to see some liquidity flowing outside of Bitcoin and majors?
I think it's still majors right now. I think what we really need is for more adoption, and that's probably coming in Bitcoin, ETH, maybe Sol, uh, maybe Ton, but out of those, I'm not sure. Like, we just need more people to use to get into Web3, more people to get into wallets, and that's probably going to flow into the top three cryptos. Um, you're definitely not going to get like alts or anything else unless there is some crazy B2C consumer app that brings people to their chain specifically. But I think most
Mhm.
people are going to start off with Bitcoin ETH.
Yeah, I mean we've been saying this for 3 years now. We need more people, but I don't know. I mean, doesn't seem that that's the metrics are helping really here short term. But yeah, it's been about how long has it been right now? We've been in this range from so I guess we're gonna call it 55,000 to 70,000 bit 73,000 Bitcoin for about 6 months now.
4
That's
months,
crazy. 4
5 months,
months.
5 months. Yeah,
Okay, I'm looking at March.
it's March something. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So definitely don't see it. And even Solana, I posted the other day. A lot of people saying that this is kind of like top distribution, and then we go lower. And like, this is essentially the kind of like tweets that you see right before we rally, right? Because you don't have a 5 6 months kind of like what I call consolidation, accumulation, or consolidation. Um, you know, and then go lower, right? I mean, you will have gone lower already. If this was the end of the cycle, we would probably be already lower, right? We wouldn't just be like ranging for 5 months and then go straight down.
I mean that
That's how I
to
see
be
it.
fair, consolidation, like you'll hear me say a lot, consolidation is like the biggest sign of the top or bottom. So that's why these consolidations are so tricky.
Yeah.
But based on how this last move down, how we came down and then chopped down here, that was the number one thing: consolidation at this low, which would
Hmm.
point to another move higher instead of because at any point, if it tops out here, it could always break through this low here at 55K. And at that point, two weekly candle closes below there would indicate to me that this actually probably is a major top, something similar to 2021. But again, based on how we're behaving at the consolidation low this time, I do think we move higher. And every time we do move higher, increases the chances that we will eventually break to the upside. And that's my thesis that we're looking at something like April to October, a corrective consolidation, meaning the correction was a consolidation, not a major top. I think we're going to see something similar here. But to be fair, the people that do say top distribution, all that, it is valid. Um, when you do get a major top, that is the biggest thing you're looking for, some type of consolidation. But again, those consolidations can also be corrections, like we saw last year. So
Hmm. Uh, I mean, I think we're still not in the euphoria phase. We'll probably see like 100, 125, 150 Bitcoin at that point. So I think consolidation for sure. Um, it's just been super boring since I don't know January, February, March. Uh, just been in that range. We can't really rush it on our end, right?
yeah, timing is literally the least predictable thing in market speculation for sure. Where'd our boy For Loco go? This fool.
Oh, I'm here.
I'm not.
I'm
Oh,
here.
okay.
Can you
Just
guys
making sure.
hear me? Yeah, no, I think it was I had a blitz here in the connection, but I can hear you guys. Yeah.
Bet. Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, the timing is the least predictable and thing. It's really only you only really need to time things perfectly if you're trading options or if you like need money to pay rent or something. And I don't really recommend either of those in crypto for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're showing your Telegram chat, by the way.
Oh, my bad.
Not sure if there's you have private keys in there or something.
Is there
No,
some alpha?
nothing
Or...
crazy, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
What do you
yeah.
think about BNB? I've been hearing some rumblings on BNB recently.
Um, it's tough to say. Like I've been asking that question for a few months too, because like BNB was so crazy, right? But it has been so long. Like I said, I think um the biggest thing what's the biggest thing is going to be if we do get an influx of money coming into crypto in general. I do think there's a good chance that multiple chains will have volume at one time, and who knows, maybe BNB. I think maybe it'll be if Binance themselves make a push. Maybe what's it called, CZ comes back when he gets out and makes it. I don't know, who knows, but it's always possible.
Yeah, it's been, if you look at the chart, it's been very strong. Like all the pullbacks that we see in ETH, Bitcoin, Sol, even BNB is just like basically flat.
Yeah, I guess I didn't answer your question at all. I was talking about the chain. You were talking about the coin. My bad. But let's see.
I mean, it's kind of the same measurements, right?
Yeah, I mean, if the chain, when the chain was doing really well in volume, obviously the coin is being used, so it goes up. Yeah, but I mean, this is a super nice correction since March, where a lot of these, like I said, the sideways consolidation corrections on Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, those are way harder, because again, they could be major tops, whereas this is like a clean, obvious like corrective channel, which are a lot easier to predict. So I see something like this on BNB in a corrective channel, makes me feel kind of better about the whole market situation in general. Because obviously, if BNB looks like it's going to run, it probably means the rest of the market is going to move up soon too.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been talks of meme coins on BNB. If we want to
Oh,
Well,
transition,
yeah,
I have
they were
one.
great. That meme, that's where it started. Really, meme coins. Obviously,
right?
Doge is its own
Yes.
one, but like last time, like in 2020, 2021, there was coins going to a billion every day on BSC. Like literally every
That's
day, which is
crazy.
pretty crazy. So I mean, it's always possible that it gets a little bit of a resurgence, but I think
That's
Solana is kind of just a better chain overall.
back in the days there were just a few meme coins, and now there's just so many that it's almost difficult to really, if you've been in the trenches, if you are crypto native, you kind of like can navigate a little bit. But if you're new, it's like you go to Solana and like, what the hell do you buy, right? You're looking for meme coins. There's just so many things, but do you just go to the highest market cap ones, or do you like volume, or do you track, activity? I use Lunar Crash. It's a fairly good indicator of how many people are tweeting and posting about certain meme coins. Kind of like they follow the hashtags and the tickers, and so that kind of like tells you the activity. But other than that, you have him join us if he wants to.
I don't know why you call me
I
on
will go
Telegram
back to
Monday.
what you were saying, Bren. Most bullish chain I am on is Solana. It's definitely my largest position, and I just think that there's so many things happening. I think they have I think Mert was pointing or kind of like teasing with a potential update or something coming up soon, some news coming out for Solana, which is positive. But then we have a bunch of like, actually we had Brazil approve a Solana ETF, which I don't know how important it is or how much volume is going to come from that specific market. But that's positive, knowing that the Solana ETF in the US, they're saying that, at least Bloomberg was reporting that there's zero chances that we'll have a Solana ETF in 2024. What do you guys think?
Oh, I just heard they like denied the ETF in the U.S.
Yeah. I was saying in Brazil, the country Brazil, they approved.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Solana's a little bit different because they laid out like a framework for like what makes something a commodity and not like a security or whatever, and it's like proper distribution and like they didn't have a pre-sale and all this different stuff. So I think Solana might take a little bit longer to like
yeah.
fulfill that criteria or whatever. But I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't really read up on the crazy details on this the last few weeks as far as the Solana ETF. But I think it's an inevitability eventually, but it just might take a little bit longer due to how Solana was all those criteria I talked about.
Has the ETF even been beneficial for ETH? I feel like it's people haven't been talking about it.
It just started trading, so I mean, just like the last, and I do think what caused Bitcoin to go down after the ETF approval was that Grayscale
Yeah,
they had their
yeah,
trust, which acted as kind of like an ETF, not really like an official ETF, but anyways, they people sold off that Grayscale trust to get into the real ETFs, which caused Grayscale to have to sell off a bunch of ETH. This time, the same, or I'm sorry, Bitcoin. Same thing is happening with ETH, but I guess this time they're selling it off faster. Um, but I think that a lot of that sell pressure is kind of dissipated already.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, it takes a little bit. Like I said, it's not like on day one it's gonna have a
yeah,
crazy effect on price. But I do think there's gonna be some pretty crazy inflows on ETF probably over the
yeah.
next year.
Can you pull up the? I think you have the Bitcoin chart. Can you pull up the Bitcoin chart? And then I don't know if you track any indicators, but just looking at the RSI levels. I don't know if you can kind of like put it in your screen, Bren.
For Bitcoin.
Um, Yeah, RSI. I like to track the RSI and the stochastic RSI as well. But the RSI, you look at it, it just broke above 50. So I mean, I don't know. It just on the daily. I look at the daily for Bitcoin. I don't even bother looking any other lower time frames. But it just broke kind of like on this, latest pump, just broke above the 50. So I don't know if it's gonna hold it or not, but I just think that we have some bullish continuation here, and I think it kind of like almost mirrors your the chart that you are kind of like painting there.
Yeah,
um
I don't use RSI. I used to use TDI a lot, but for just like you were saying, this does show that again, it's not overbought or oversold. It's just kind of like a clean slate.
yeah,
So it's just like again, it just supports. When we do move up, there's no crazy longs right now. There's actually a lot of shorts. So if anything, it's just going to squeeze crazy to the upside. So
yeah,
yeah, no, for sure, this kind of supports what I was saying too.
yeah. So I'm bullish. If Bitcoin moves up, I think Solana will do as well. But I was looking at the chart Solana, and Solana is a little bit more tricky. I don't know if you've been following the chart of Solana. Here and oh, you think, okay, you already have it laid out. Yeah, it's kind of like sitting in this kind of like mid-range that I am very wary to enter longs or shorts. I would definitely not enter a short, but um wondering if we might have a little bit more move downwards before we kind of like move up again.
Generally, I think they're all going to follow each other. ETH looks a little bit different because I think we went over a few weeks ago. A lot of people were long, just assuming the ETH ETF came out. Of course, it's going to go to all time highs. So when it moved down like the other two, there was just really fat liquidation cascades, which sent it down really quick. So obviously ETH looks a little bit different, but essentially Sol and Bitcoin are kind of in the same setup. Maybe Bitcoin moves first, like we're already seeing now. But essentially, I think over a few month period, they're just going to follow each other, unless something crazy comes out for one or the other or one of the three. That's kind of individual or unique to one of them. But yeah, I think generally Bitcoin and Sol are kind of in the same setup. So if it were to move down, I would expect probably Bitcoin to do the same. But again, yeah, I think we're just going to chop above 55K and then move higher. Maybe from here if we move above 62K here.
Yeah, Danksy, any thoughts on Solana or Bitcoin before we move on to the next?
No, uh, I mean they all trade the same. Solana kind of got that bump on meme coins, and maybe we'll see more people going into Solana for meme coins after running around on different chains. Um, Maybe come back to Sol, but like right now with the TRX launch of Sun Pump, like any chain can be the next meme coin liquidity
Well,
kind of.
yeah, I mean, we haven't had one since March, April, right? Because I remember back in December, I mean, we had Say, we had Sui, we had I think Linear or yeah, we had Linear, we had a bunch of them, and then Base, right? And VMV as well. But after that, we Solana has pretty much been the leading chain for both TVL liquidity and meme coin trading. We haven't had really any other chains active over the last 3 months. At least notoriously active in terms of volume. It's just been Solana domination, 100%. But there's have you guys seen this one? this because I know we're probably gonna get into meme coins, which is what everyone wants to discuss, and the most interesting part of the market right now, where the volume is at least. Have you guys seen this? I guess the opposite of pump that fun is called dumpy that fun. Have you guys dig your foot on it? Have you tried it? Are you shorting meme coins?
No, what is it? It's like a perp stuff where you can short memes.
You can
It's
they
yeah.
basically like give you an option to short when they have their own borrowing protocol, but there's no coins on it. There's minimal. There's probably 10 coins on it, so you can't short any of the super low caps.
Pull it up if you can, Denksy, or whoever has this the screen.
What's it called?
Uh,
Dumpy that fun.
Dumpy.fun. Let me see. Here, I can show you.
I mean, you would think like you know shorting a meme coin, especially new meme coins, would be the move, right? Especially knowing how many there are. But if there's only a couple or a handful of them, then maybe it doesn't really make as much sense, right?
No,
Um,
there's you have to apply for a specific meme coin to short because
oh, okay, I'm
they need
looking
to
at them.
pull up
Yeah.
all the liquidity. They need to pull up the backstop for it.
Yeah. No. Most of these are like older meme coins. Like, well, I would definitely not long the Jason Derulo, which I feels like people are shorting it. Uh, that one. But there's a bunch of here that are, I mean, with solid. I haven't really heard of Samo since
Yeah, you can
December.
only use 1x leverage right
Okay,
now.
so it's not even exciting. Okay, yeah,
So I mean, yeah,
I
you
mean,
could short it.
how else could you do it? How else could they minimize the risk, operational risk on it? I feel like that's as much as you can ask for.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I know there's a few other protocols that do like shorting for meme coins, but
They have to be pretty big, right? Probably 100+ million market cap,
yeah, you have to have a lot of liquidity.
right?
yeah,
On
That's why,
exchanges at least.
yeah, there's not a lot of good perps for decentralized on chain stuff yet. It's kind of like the exchanges are kind of still the best option.
Right.
hmm
I mean, the risk of meme coins. I mean, the risk of shorting is that you can lose infinite amount of money,
Yeah, shorting. Yeah, shorting's not,
right?
and as well as the risk to reward's not as good because you can only make
yeah,
100% to the downside. Whereas like if you're longing or you're holding a coin, you can make infinite to the upside. Where to the
yeah,
downside, you can only make 99% or whatever, 100%.
Look at this
yeah.
APR on. I have whiff, and the APR is 8%. So
It's
Hmm.
I feel
eight
like you're gonna
percent,
get
same as
killed.
this 8.1.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see something when there's more liquidity and volume and stuff. I could see something like this getting big. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't do it because, like you said, it's so easy to lose money. Even like there's a little bit of buy pressure, it could just take you out of your trade.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in other news, I mean, like, looks like there's certain areas of the market that actually, even with this choppiness, like NFTs, I've been looking at to, especially Ethereum NFTs, but even other NFTs are doing fairly well. CryptoPunks are close to 30 ETH floor.
Hmm.
They had a
What,
fairly
what was the lowest
CryptoPunks.
they were at?
Like
I think they got
20,
to 20,
25.
23, 24 at some point. Yeah, 23, 24.
Wow.
Back to 30. I think Bored Apes, BAYC's up as well, close to 10 or
Are they
above. No,
12 right now?
12. That's right, 12.
Yeah.
With some news, I mean, Gordon came back saying that he's back in the team, actively building. And there's apparently like a treasure hunt coming up and like a online poker tournament or something. A bunch of things are coming up here in the timeline. So that speculation probably leading the price up, which we haven't seen in a while. Then we have a Pudgy up 5%, 9.5 E floor. And then we have a Suki 1% up to 4.5. And Milady almost back to 4 ETH. So just some activity back to Ethereum. It looks like, if you look back 1 year from today, we had also kind of like the lowest, I think it was August, September. It was almost like the Pico bottom for Pudgies. and then they went from 4 ETH all the way to 18, I believe it was, right? 18 or 20 ETH. And then they kind of like eventually came down back to 10. But a lot of people are kind of like assuming, okay, this is a good time to buy, speculate on these assets, because normally NFTs have a very good run come the winter, right? Like the December, January times are always exciting for NFTs. So been following some of them. Um, and yeah, meme coins in general, I still hold some of my positions. I don't know if you guys have made any moves recently, but haven't been trading much small caps or micro caps just because there's just not enough liquidity to push these market caps up, and most people are just kind of like, throwing the towel very quickly on new launches.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys are the more the NFT guys. I didn't really go too crazy on NFTs, or at least not an expert for sure. But I think the best thing that can happen to any asset, including NFTs, is like they just consolidate a lot of like the apes. If they consolidate above 10 for another 6 months, a year plus, year and a half, something like that, that's the best thing that can happen. Because, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're trading stocks, gold, fucking corn, board apes, major tops and bottoms, the biggest telltale sign or the biggest factor, that all tops and bottoms have is some type of consolidation. So, usually these big tops and bottoms, even on Bitcoin back in like 2020, 2018, 2017, they usually end where, where when everybody's bored and, nothing's happening, and we consolidate for a little bit. So if the apes and stuff again were to consolidate for another year, that's probably the best thing that could happen to them. And at that point, I
Mhm.
could see a resurgence.
Yeah, and we might not even see the floor prices we saw in the previous cycle, but at least some activity on chain definitely would be positive. I've seen a lot of people, on at least I follow, saying that they're exhausted with meme coins, and aside from meme coins, they want to go back to kind of like the vibes that NFTs kind of like brought them back. And I don't know if there's any NFT listeners here. I know we have over 200 people listening, but it's just been a meme coin show for the last, for the last year or so, right? It's been like it was a the meme coin mania started in December with Whiff and I think it was actually Bonk, right? Back in November, December 2023. But ever since then, it's been a meme coin kind of like headline, prime show. So I definitely would like to see some NFT activity. I don't know if it's going to look the same, but definitely would like to see some teams building. I know Doodles are building. Apparently, CyberConks is partnering with Adidas as well, the brand, to launch limited kind of like digital collectibles. Hopefully, it's not a cash grab because most of these things tend to be. But I really hope that some teams are starting to figure it out what to do, and maybe vice versa. Instead of like figuring it out existing PFPs, perhaps companies build NFTs with the purpose to actually build sustainable products. But I do miss the NFT times, man. It was fun to hang out with people, and it was not just really PvP. It was, I mean, you obviously wanted to flip it for a profit, but in some cases, people would just kind of like find their kind of like their hub, their kind of like group of friends, and really, go to events. It was fun. Whereas with meme coins, I don't really see the same kind of like activity. I don't know. Have you guys seen that, or is this just mostly, PvP? Sell me your PNL, and I'm the best trader type of thing.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
it's definitely PvP for meme coins. It's always been PvP. NFTs, I think. I mean, you can still buy NFTs and join communities. I think it's just the people. You're just not seeing those price gains as much, or as it was in like 2021, 2020. So you probably get a lot less people getting in. But it's. I think if you want to join a community, there's definitely opportunities. Not only in ETH, but in Soul NFTs now, and then also in probably newer chains are launching NFTs for communities.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Bren, yeah. Are you looking at any specific meme coins, or you still have the same conviction ones that we mentioned last week?
Yeah, for the most part, same conviction plays. I'm slowly adding to. Again, mostly on Soul. Again, because that's just where most of them, the established ones are, and I do think that kind of Soul will still have most of the meme coin volume for now. Like I said, if everything does kind of go crazy at one time, I think base and all a lot of them could have it, but I think Soul's going to remain dominant. So yeah, most of the plays that we talked about the last few weeks, I'm just keeping the same. Been playing a little bit on Tron, but yeah, for the most part, not over trading, just kind of chilling for the most part.
Yeah, and I gotta mention that I love your tip of the day today. I was reading it this morning, and I appreciate you bringing that kind of like perspective because a lot of people are, most people are probably over trading, right? And you
Yeah,
have these certain times in the market that it's better that you don't do really anything, right?
yeah,
Just have so why don't you want to tell us a little bit what it is about? I know Danksy have you been able to read it, but I thought those 3 steps were very helpful for anyone that is listening, whether you are part of the Bossman Calls Telegram channel, which by the way, you guys crossed 20,000, almost 21,000 subscribers, so congratulations on that. But or you are part of the B3L community, you definitely should listen and kind of like understand that these times in the market are normal, and sometimes it's better that you don't do anything. So, Bren, you want to kind of like go over the 3 steps quickly and kind of like for the audience to understand a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
more?
yeah, 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 sure. So yeah, like I say at the end of this post, if you scroll down, um, the biggest thing is just like, dude, everybody, most people can find like a 10, 15, 20x like a couple times a year, right? Like, it's not too hard to find good plays. It's just like the difference between somebody who's like a millionaire, who's a whale, who actually like becomes financially free from trading. And that's not even everybody's goal, but, I feel like most people are trying to make money, right? So it's like the difference is between those people, and the other one is their habits and just kind of their mindset and the way that they like view the market. I know that sounds super cliche and like corny to a lot of people in meme coins. It's like, like it's just they're doing it for fun. It's like a casino, whatever. But like anything, basketball, like sales, like anything, if you want to become good at it, you gotta have to have certain habits. Luckily, in meme coins and everything, it's a lot more fun. So like community based and all that. But either way, these three things, I just did this tip of the day. If you have these three things set up, you kind of separate yourself from everybody else or most people. Is just having a healthy portfolio set up. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but like you, even if you have like $1,000 in the market, you should have half 40 to 50% in majors and stables at all times. It allows you to like survive these washout periods, because a lot of these memes, a lot of them won't survive. Who knows? You might buy the top of one of these memes and be down for 4 or 5 months. And then just the biggest one is to have a take profit system set up, where you take profits at a certain milestones. That's the biggest thing. Most people round trip or sell everything too early. This always be taking partial profit system that I kind of have, kind of helps you avoid both of those. And then the third one, which for Loco was going over, is just patience. A lot of people, like, again, they can get a 10, 15, 20x, but then they just go back and give it all back to the market, especially during these times, where there's many bear markets, and meme coins like this is very easy to lose money. So, um, right now the biggest thing is it might seem boring, but if you just like kind of chill and sit and get into these like proven plays, maybe play a little bit into the newer coins on Tron or whatever is going on at the time. But for the most part, just like survive this time, you'll thank yourself a lot later, because a lot of people will just lose money during this time, and it's really easy to do that. So, uh,
Um, I don't know if you can share this, but what you'd say that right now, when you look at your portfolio, are you mostly majors and stables, or would you say you're 50-50, or what's your current kind of like portfolio, kind of like distribution situation right now?
Yeah, right now I'm like 50% major stables, like I said, everybody around 60, and then
Hmm.
probably like 25%. Pretty much the rest, maybe like 10% in like random older coins like Polkadot and Doge and stuff that I think's like undervalued at their market cap, and then the rest is just in those 30 to 100 million market cap meme coins, proven meme coins, Mishi, Trimp, um, Harambe, stuff like that I've been talking about in the streams the last few weeks, stuff like that. So, Yeah,
So Bitcoin, Solana, then a couple of other L1s, and
mostly
then
ETH and
me,
Sol, yeah,
ETH,
and Bitcoin for mostly those
and
two.
yeah. Do you explore or get do you get into like kind of like the DeFi protocols within Solana, whether it's Radium or Jupiter? Because dude, I was looking yesterday. I think it was, I don't know if it's Camino Finance or I think Drift offers too, but they're offering like 40-45% yield on just by, I think it's like by providing liquidity to the actual chain. Let me look at it. It's
Sounds like
insane.
Luna. No, I'm just playing.
That was like a
No,
100+%,
to
right? But
answer
no,
your
no,
question though,
yeah.
no, I haven't really got into any like lending or anything like that. I've been definitely more liquid now this year than I have in past times. So I definitely want to get into more of that side of stuff. But
Hmm.
I've just kind of been sticking to what's working. But over time, definitely we'll do some staking, all that different stuff. Probably get someone to help me, cut the my learning curve and all that and stuff. But yeah, nothing too much yet on that side.
Yeah. So thanks. I don't know if you can pull it up, but if you can pull up the Camino Finance Twitter. So
How do you
essentially, if
spell that?
you Camino is Kamino, and not, we are not. By the way, they're not a sponsor or anything. It's just like mentioning because if you pull up the, so essentially they have a protocol multiply, right? And if you provide, or I think it's probably like a liquidity play, you provide JLP or Jupiter on that platform, your APY is almost 50% right now. So not on the multiply one, yeah, that one. What is it right now? 27, 26%. Okay, yesterday they had a tweet on their Twitter account August 19th that said that the current APY was 49%. Maybe a lot of people looked at this boost and they went back and then now it's lowering. What was it yesterday? 49%, right?
On the
Something.
12? Yeah, 49,
Yeah.
40 something.
So, Bren, the reason why I brought this up is because I know it's boring and this is a multi-billion dollar kind of like coin, but you know, you might as well. I mean, I think it's, if Solana does well and the ecosystem does well through meme coins, you want to be at least in Jupiter and Radium because it's
Mhm.
essentially kind of like the engine that powers all these transactions, right? In this ecosystem, and they are paying you just essentially for holding it. So that's kind of like a play I'm considering right now during this boring time. Instead of like trading and looking for like 5-10 x's, just maybe put a chunk of your portfolio on this kind of like Jupiter Radium and kind of like earn some yield. But what are your thoughts on that? You think that's
No,
interesting for you, or
absolutely.
yeah?
Like I said, I'm definitely looking into more stuff like that over time. Kind of like more passive yield or whatever for providing liquidity.
Hmm.
It's just something I need to learn more about. I remember the one guy, I forgot his name, in the VC one time in Wumbo or whatever, he kind of taught us that stuff. So I know liquidity, providing liquidity is like a good way to make a few extra percent or maybe like 10-15% on stuff, like from what I understand. So definitely need to get into more in that. I'll DM you, maybe we can learn together. I'm sure you
Yeah,
already
we should
know.
definitely do a session on this because honestly, I think this a lot of people are just like looking for like 10, 20, 50 x's. But if you're smart, JLP or Jupiter is technically a little bit of a leverage play on Solana, and
Yeah.
they have an actual product, so it's not gonna go to zero, right? It's eventually gonna do very well. It's a bit more boring, but if you can buy and get a 40% yield while not doing anything, I think it's probably the best you can do until the market kind of like improves, right? Because it's just too choppy right now, and if you're like trading every day back and forth, you're most likely going to get yeah, chopped out, whether it's on the up or down, right? You're in most cases you're really like not, you don't have an edge in this market, right? So
Yeah, no, and from what I understand, providing liquidity and doing all that stuff is actually the best during ranging and shopping periods like this, because you can kind of like the range that you set
yeah,
is like you can collect on a smaller range where it's harder to kind of gauge while everything's moving up or down. So
yeah.
yeah, no, that's good. I definitely need to get into more and staking and stuff like that in general. Like I saw on Phantom, I'm sure there's way better ways to do it, but I was looking on Phantom and or whatever, like just staking through the pools that they have listed on there. You can do like 8, 9, 10% a year.
Yeah.
Um, which I mean, if you have multiple six figures in there, it's like it's not bad.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. All right, I think we have about a couple of minutes left. I wanted to get into the DGen, like super DGen section, and obviously that comes to meme coins. Um, I don't know if you guys seen the? I mean, I participated on the Reddit dog, Snoopy over the weekend. I did fairly well on that one in our community B3L. Shout out to them because we caught it earlier at 1.5 million market cap and ran all the way into 15 million market cap. Right now it's back at 4, so I think it's just kind of like going through the first or second 70% drawdown, which would say is normal because also a lot of liquidity has uh, left the chain and gone to Tron. So we'll see what happens with that one. Have you guys been degenning in the last couple of days? There's also one called Grimace, which I believe was a rack from McDonald's or some shit. But
No way McDonald's rugged us. They really need
well,
more employees.
right? I believe it was someone actually in the mid to upper management too that posted about it. So, Bren, have you heard about it or?
The grimace thing, yeah, I saw that this morning. Was it? Did they get hacked or did somebody in the?
I saw a tweet or on Instagram or something post about it. So maybe they got hacked. Maybe that's what they say. But honestly, someone left with 700,000 in profit, and so either he's an insider, Sahil, or someone in McDonald's is trying to rug us and wants us all to go back and work
Yeah, that's so
at
funny.
McDonald's.
Yeah, no, they probably got hacked. Like I remember, like Barack Obama and a bunch of people got posted drainers. Like I'm sure people can get into anybody's account if they want.
Oh man.
Is it this one?
Yeah, that's it. That looks like a Christmas tree right there. I thankfully I didn't participate, but I was hearing about it from some friends, and it's like, oh man, not just it's just not the best day either, and for new launches, and this thing shot up all the way to like 3 to 4 million, and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of like weird. It looks like it's a CTO now. Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, any other DGen plays you guys have been doing lately, or just sitting on your hands and waiting for the right moment?
We hit like Fofar and a few of the other early Tron meme coins. I think we called it in the channel at like 3 or 4 million, whatever it's at now. I think
Nice.
it's probably down like 50% right now or something 40. But I think from the top it was like a 20x from where we called it. So I
Way to
got in
go.
on that and then tied in a few of the other ones. But yeah, I took just taking profits on the way up. Not try not to go too crazy. Kind of
Yeah.
taking the wins that I've had so far, and not going to give any back.
Way to go. Dancy, are you still in Nero or are you kind of like
Yeah,
digging
I'm still
into
holding.
Tron? Yeah.
Uh, I have a stop loss somewhere. And I'm just like letting it ride. Basically, it
Yeah,
seems like the holder counts are keep going up, but I've just been sitting on my hands.
Yeah.
Actually bought more Bitcoin and got more exposure to Bitcoin today. So for a super long term. So that's kind of my recent trade.
Are you just buying Bitcoin spot or are you playing like the micro strategy, kind of like leverage or beta options? What's your strategy with Bitcoin?
Options like super long term options on Marathon.
Oh, you're going for the miners. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's the strategy. Because
Yeah.
there's no good options on Bitcoin really. I
Well,
think
you have beta, right?
yeah, but that's only one. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that one's the best ETF. Anyways, it just has
Well,
options on it.
what do you think of like options on MicroStrategy? Because technically, it's like a Bitcoin treasury. Brent, have you heard of it? Because essentially, it's just like I don't know if you guys heard of Stacks. I mean, Stacks is like a protocol, right? Built on top of Bitcoin. And back in March, I did a couple of like what when Bitcoin was kind of like going up and down. I used to play a little bit of a leverage play on Stacks.
hmm
But if you don't have a lot of on-chain kind of like liquidity, what you can do right now, it's MicroStrategy, right? It moves normally like 20 to 30%, uh, more. It's a little bit more of a leverage play on Bitcoin moves.
yeah, because
Um,
their balance
yeah.
sheets like direct. They have Bitcoin in their balance sheet, so it's just like it moves up with
It's
Bitcoin.
one of the only few companies that survived dot-com bubble that
Yeah.
essentially no one really knows what they do. I think they had like about 20 to 30 million in cash flow yearly, but you know, no one really knows what they do. All they do is like borrow and issue shares to buy more Bitcoin, right? So it's just a
Yeah.
Bitcoin company, right? So so I play options on this. And that's kind of my exposure to Bitcoin aside from the mining operations that we have in Texas, which we have about 300 miners right now. So but other than
300.
that,
Nice.
yeah.
The spread
Yeah,
is so big on these options. Which ones are you looking at?
300 miners. Wow. How long? I don't know. I think I know it's tied to B3L, right? In some way. I'm a super. I just
yeah. So
got my
it's
piece a few weeks ago, but like, just real
yeah.
quick. How long have you guys been building that for? I need to.
We started Oc-
Like very
October?
early on. Like
No, August 2023, right? Denksi?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So we
think
Nice.
started
that was
when
the
Bitcoin
first batch, and then we got a
was,
second batch of miners.
yeah, we started when Bitcoin was like 25,000 or 23 to 25,000 last year, which was around this time actually. I remember we started like our kind of like protocol. We have a DAO where members can participate and
Yeah.
they own a percentage of the miners and also they get the yield from the Bitcoin mining. So it's like a double kind of like what we call double benefit, right? You own
Yeah.
the miners a percentage of it and you get the yield. Obviously right now, and it hasn't really been that exciting just because Bitcoin has been ranging,
Yeah.
but as we, hopefully Bitcoin goes through the cycle and goes above 80,000 or 100,000, that's when, fireworks will start, right? Because then miners will appreciate in price, the yield will actually, make a ton of sense. And we are mining under 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour, which for the US is actually a very competitive price.
Nice.
So yeah, it's also kind of like it's a little bit of I don't want to say it's a beta or like leverage play on Bitcoin, but you own both the hardware and the yield,
Yeah.
so it's a bit more exciting than just holding Bitcoin spot IMO. But
Yeah. Super
yeah,
cool.
but yeah, Dexy, anything else you wanna bring up, or are you still betting on Poly Market? Anything interesting this week?
Uh, no, I think I moved all my money to monkeypox, and
Oh my
then
god.
No, you bet yes. Oh my god, this guy's a
what do you
degen
mean?
for sure.
You don't
Yeah.
think monkeypox is gonna get here?
I don't know. I just that timing. It's just hard. It's like anything. It's just hard to time. For me, my strategy, I'm just trying to very concentrated bets and obvious. Like obviously nothing's obvious, but
This one,
100%
the
obvious.
Kamala
But just
Harris
like more
popular
locks.
vote one, is obvious.
Like me, I'd probably take the no on that. On that side, I might wait a few more days, but I'd probably take no on
On the
like.
popular vote,
Oh no, I'm on the monkeypox.
oh, this one I think is a super good one.
Yeah,
Tanksy lives in Poly Market. You spend probably like three-fourths of your day, 20 hours a day, no? Or almost 20 hours a day in Poly Market, man.
Yeah, I have it
Um,
tapped in to my sleep. I have like a Neuralink, and then I have it just pushing Poly Market.
well, I want to see the actual P&L, man, because I know Bren has been doing very well on it. Bren, are you still holding or are you taking profits
on
mostly?
Poly Market. Okay, so
Yeah.
right now I know this is weird, but I'm all in on Justin Bieber's baby, Justin Bieber's baby being a boy.
Okay.
I
Really?
won't go into far into this. It's just that it's a lock. That's all I'm
Do
gonna
you
say.
do you
It's a
have
lock.
any
It's a
insider
lock.
information? Do you have insider information in the hospital, or is
Not
there
in the
something that you
hospital,
know
no,
that we
not
don't?
that far. But I'll just say I know it's a boy. So I mean, if you want this free 40%, go ahead and take it. But
You know it's a boy, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
I have
What
ten
what's
thousand
the
$10,000 riding on it. I know this sounds
No
sweet?
way.
insane, but yeah, no, it's right now on an average 66 cent average. So a little bit, I'm down a little bit right
Oh,
now.
I see you. This is your account.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that. If you're so sure and it's going to be a boy, maybe I should put some some
How do you
liquidity in
know
there
it's a
too.
boy? It's
right now,
50-50,
look,
right?
there's a this guy's gonna get destroyed here. Let's see, top
Well, you
holders.
you're supposed to know after 4 months, right, of pregnancy or something like that. Is it?
No, but her due date was like already passed, so it'll be any day now when they announce it.
Okay.
What are you like sitting outside the hospital?
Yeah, no, I'm right now. That's why I said I'm in a public place. I'm actually outside of no.
He's got his the telescope looking into the room and everything or whatever.
But Anon, this person Anon, they bet on girls, so it's like they probably really have 30, 25, 30,000 writing on it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, the top holder is on girls, so this guy's gonna get
40K
destroyed.
on it. 45K.
Yeah, let's go. Guy Maniac has as the top holder on the boy. And if you look at these, a lot of these, the top other two people, they just came in, they made their account to bet on this. So
Mm. Yeah.
um,
I'm sending all my money on this then. I'm gonna
Okay.
close out everything.
All right. All in. Not financial advice, by the
yeah,
way.
not financial advice, but that's just you asked where my money on
You
Polymarket is
asked.
on right now. So
Looks like Trump actually gained back some percentages, right, of the actual on poly market, right? A couple of points. Is that
yeah,
right? Yeah.
$685 million on this is insane.
I
Yeah.
mean, it should be 50-50. So right now, I think it should be pretty close.
Oh,
Yeah,
Justin, I just looked at Kamala Harris supports policies to expand crypto industry. Bloomberg. Okay. Because we've had a ton of headlines saying that, well, I think it was a fake headline that she was going to reappoint Gary Gensler. That's probably fake.
that'd be
But a ton of people on her cabinet or whatever, on her uh, advisory board or whatever you want to call it, on her team, were anti-crypto, right? So I don't know if that was the reason why she lost some points. Also, the other reason why she might have lost some points is because she spoke the other day, and I think her kind of like remarks were a little bit like too left, right? Too much on the social side, and I think a lot of people that perhaps like non kind of like the mid, what I call like non what is it like when you're in the middle, right? Like just like non-assigned boats, something like that. I think it's called. Yeah. So they're probably like still deciding what they're gonna do. And if she comes to socialist or to left, they might kind of like think it twice, right? So that's might be the reason why she lost some points. Also, there's no debate yet on site, right, in between the two candidates, is there?
no.
I don't think
There's
so.
bets on here though, whether it'll
Yeah.
happen on
I think there's definitely will be debates. They're just probably negotiating.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But anything else looking at here in Poly Market? Otherwise, I'm gonna go all in on Justin Bieber boy
Yeah,
today.
definitely want to do that. I this week, if you ever have a Trump speech, they kind of this last one right here, they kind of pressed it in, but for MAGA, they didn't even have this on here. MAGA is always a lock. I've won two bets on Trump saying MAGA. I actually got one that was like I don't know how it was like 75%, so I got like 25% on Trump saying MAGA. On these ones, a lot of them are kind of easy.
Well,
Um,
yeah, until he doesn't do it, and then
But like I'm talking
you know,
like the real easy ones, like obvious ones where like Obama was going to say Michelle last night, that type of stuff. You could have gotten an easy 20-25% off that. It's kind of the ones I'm
Nice.
focusing on.
Are you guys using ChatGPT or AI to know what words are said kind of like the most often? I was hearing someone doing it. Like some people are actually very professional in these things, and they're using AI to kind of like see the probabilities or the possibilities of how many or what words are going to be said, given kind of historical kind of like speeches, etc.
I don't, but I mean that's crazy. I'm sure there's some stuff you could do with that.
Yeah. All
no, I
right.
haven't
Thanks.
looked
Any,
into it.
yeah, you haven't. All right, guys.
No.
Well, I think that's all we have here. If there's anything else or any closing thoughts, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully, we have a fairly good rest of the week here for crypto. Tomorrow, Thursday, I don't know if there's anything coming up that is aside from like rates in September. August tends to be a not so good month for crypto, but it looks like right now it's holding up fairly well. So we'll see what happens next week. Other than that, yeah, I just hope you for the best and make sure you keep your liquidity and stay safe and don't do too many degen things because when the time comes, you don't want to be sidelined. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good advice for sure.
Thanks, Bren. Thanks for Loco. Make sure to join Bren's Telegram. We'll post it somewhere, and then Bridge 3 Labs B3O Beast also has Telegram and a Discord that we post all our calls in. We'll probably trade some calls around, Bren, and trying to decentralize some of the brain power. But expect to do this every, what day is it? Wednesday? And
Wednesday, yeah.
then we'll see if we can get Boss Man up here, get the fourth.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. He's traveling right now, but we'll definitely make it happen. But yeah, dude, definitely go enjoy these guys' channel if if you're first time hearing them. Love these guys. They're very smart. Love doing these with you guys every Wednesday. So we'll definitely be back next week.
Yep, for sure. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna start buying the Justin Bieber baby right now
Go
before
all
anyone
in.
buys it.
But make sure you buy with small orders, like twop in like you would with like a meme coin or anything else. Because the other day, like my first bet I made, I bought $500 like in 2 orders all at once, and I shot the odds up to like 80%. So
Oh shit.
don't do
Yeah.
that. Like do a couple $100 orders at a time.
For sure.
Good
Appreciate the
alpha.
alpha. We'll be posting more alpha both on our Telegram and on Bren's. So stay tuned for that and make sure the notifications are on.
All right,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.